Well, it's 9 after 1 a.m. at the time I'm recording this video. So, one thing that I guess I'm trying to move on, but this situation was pretty abnormal. Um, obviously, like to take a few minutes to obviously add, I guess, I don't know why it happened. I mean, maybe, I don't know. It's been a long time. However, I think that obviously I'm going to title this Ian Gives His Two Dismeys, which, when you look at what a dismey is, it's, a precursor to modern day dime. The Roosevelt dime we often have in our pockets. A dismey was obviously a colonial, early American, coin that represented a tenth of a dollar. Obviously, the U.S. Mint Act in 1794, obviously, they started minting American coins. The flowing hair was the first, American silver dollars. And then obviously you see after that they had the draped busts were designed by Robert Scott, U.S. Mint. Very interesting. I love early American numismatics. Obviously, you'll often see in that collecting community some proprietary nomenclature of America's first silver dollar, which when you look at that, that's not what that is. That's a Spanish 8 real. Those are called pieces of 8. Obviously, early colonial money. Pieces of 8 were legal tender almost till after the Civil War in America, because they're a colonial currency. The New World was colonized by Spain and Britain and France and stuff, so 8 reals and French francs, British pounds, those early coins were used oftentimes alongside their American counterparts. Oftentimes the early American coins from the late 1700s, early 1800s often had less silver content than, their European colonial power counterparts. When I was in Boston, I ended up buying one of those. It's a proprietary marketing ploy to put a 1783, 8 real minted in Lima or Mexico City in a, case. But they're from the wreck of the El Calzador, but they're all 1783 coins. Now, like I said, in this situation, it's been odd. I don't know. However, I think that I actually got into an interesting conversation with someone at work today. They're going to go to school. Actually, they're going to UMD this fall for psychology, and I have more of a cynical outlook than they do. But I obviously like to stress disdain, and I think that it's a generational handicap. A lot of our generation's euphoria is obviously obtained through social media, how we're seen on there, and any experience that does drive excitement and euphoria that's not on social media, that obviously, that's going to be documented for social media. So our generation has a lifestyle and a metric for validation of worth that is often dependent on social media and how one's perceived, how many likes, how much love, per se, people get. And when people put too much importance on that, first off, it's very unsustainable. I mean, when people are young, they look better than when they're in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. I mean, you're not going to be a TikTok influencer or Instagram star forever. And what happens if 5G and our power shuts off? I mean, it's not sustainable. It requires the environment and the status quo of everything to be just right for it to be a productive, means for social and economic and just validation in society. And he kind of brought up, well, obviously before that you had TV and magazines. People would look at People magazine or Us Weekly or whatever and see, all these beautiful people, both men and women, that they don't think they're as good as. Well, obviously back then I argue that the difference is Hollywood. That people know that, oh, that's Hollywood, that's sitcom TV, that's tabloids. But nowadays with TikTok and Instagram, we can compare ourselves to people doing the same things we do. Someone could be at a TGI Fridays on Broadway in New York and Wall Street, and they could be doing a selfie and oh my god, that person's the best thing ever, and you could go there and do the selfie yourself. So you can start with social media. We start seeing ourselves in these people who we're comparing ourselves to constantly on a level that was not done before. I wouldn't have looked, say I was alive in the 80s. Someone in the 80s isn't going to look at People magazine and compare their life as a suburban housewife in Richfield, Minnesota, to Linda Hamilton, who starred in Terminator. I mean, they're not going to do that because they know that she's a Hollywood star. She's making millions. I'm a housewife. But nowadays, we're starting to have that line be eroded between the people we're comparing ourselves to and what we're trying to strive for in life and falling short. I think it's going to become a very pivotal mental health crisis in the future.